If someone fired a gun at me and the bullet missed, could I then claim I was a murder victim? I know it's a dumbass question to be sure, yet just consider what British Columbia Premier Christy Clark claimed recently, namely that once upon a time, she was the victim of sexual assault. Now, sexual assault is horrific to be sure, and a Globe and Mail headline pertaining to a story about Clark's ordeal stated, quote, bearing witness to unspeakable truths, end quote. Unspeakable truths, that sounds really serious, yet as always, folks, the devil is in the details. And here's the skinny. As a 13-year-old on her way to her job at a restaurant, a man pulled Clark off the sidewalk and into the bushes. Thankfully, this creep slipped and Clark was able to flee. Now, I'm not downplaying how traumatic this must have been for a teenage girl. And whoever this offender is or was, hopefully he was later caught in the commission of some other crime and is doing hard time behind bars. But the problem with the story is this. Just because someone attempted to do God knows what to Clark decades ago, this does not make her a victim of sexual assault because there was no sexual assault. Yes, there was in all likelihood an attempt at sexual assault or even worse, but still a rape attempt isn't nearly as toxic as someone actually being raped. Now, Clark says she's remained silent all these years out of shame, yet the question arises, why come forward now? Surely it isn't because Clark has one of the lowest approval ratings for a premier at the moment, is it? It also struck me as weird that the first one to praise Christy Clark for coming forward with this story was, drumroll please, Christy Clark. Particularly when she stated, quote, I wish I'd had the courage to say something then, I do now, end quote. So bottom line, contrary to her claim, Premier Clark was not sexually assaulted. And secondly, I hope I'm wrong, but it just seems that given Clark's abysmal approval ratings as Premier and the fact that British Columbians will be headed to the polls in less than a year, could it be the unspoken reason for Clark's story was to generate public sympathy for political gain? Yeah, I'd like to think that's not the case. Unfortunately, I'm afraid I'm just way too cynical these days to believe otherwise. For the Rebel.media, I'm David the Menzoid Menzies.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.